Hey guys, and welcome to my weekly chat for this week's episode of The Walking Dead. Okay, just first and foremost, I know that this video is going to be longer than usual, because I have a lot to say, and I just have a feeling it might take a little bit to get through everything. Two things before I even start getting into the episode and looking at all my notes. The first thing is I just wanted to say thank you. My mid-season finale reaction is doing very, very well. And I just want to say thank you to those of you who, really enjoyed it. And the second thank you, biggest thank you to all of you who have been watching my videos all this season and said nothing about how the mid-season finale was supposed to end. I know that a spoiler got leaked. I heard that a spoiler got leaked. I believe it was like after the first episode, or it was something like that. It was around the first couple of episodes. And I was very cautious about going into my comment section. And I was very cautious about reading like tweets coming at me and stuff like that. And it was just so very nice that I was very cautious, but I didn't get any spoilers anyway. And it just means a lot because, I feel like a lot of people were getting spoiled, or a lot of people, anyway, I just wanted to say thank you about that. Okay, so I have a lot of little things to kind of touch on, and then we'll get into kind of the bigger things. If you guys have just joined my channel or whatever, I do weekly chats. I rewatch the episode, I take notes, and then I just talk with you guys about it. And yeah, I'm very sorry for this one probably being longer than normal. So a couple of little notes, little things that I just, kind of wrote down. Okay, so the first thing is the trash people. And this is a question that I'm going to be posing to you guys. What do you think is going to be going on with them? Are we going to see them again? Is Rick's group going to attack them because they didn't stick by or whatever? Or are they just going to join back up with the saviors? It's just so... I thought it was interesting because there's part of me who's just like, God, I wish we never see him again. But I also feel like I don't want to have spent a good portion, a decent portion of the first half of this season with like Rick going there and trying to make another deal, and those scenes had to have meant something. So I'm wondering what you guys think, if we are gonna do what's going to happen with them. Or is it just going to be like a day of reckoning for them? Or, are they just going to be sculpting forever? Let me know what you think about that. The next thing that I want to touch on is Eugene. Eugene. I literally sat here a week ago and I talked about how, I finally needed to let go of the hope that I had for Eugene to do anything good. That's what the majority of my episode 7 weekly chat was about. Eugene, you're making me look like a fucking asshole here. So I was thrilled to see him kind of, step up for Gabriel, and I love Eugene's arc this season. Eugene's arc is one of my favorite things about this season so far. The fact that, they kind of really focused on the fact that he couldn't sleep. He was having trouble. He had to drink. He was going through all of this stuff. Because as much as he really was trying to convince himself, and I went more into that in my last weekly chat, that he's okay and that everything is, he's doing the right thing, and, these people were still your friends. They were not your traveling companions. They were your friends. They were your family. And I really, really liked the fact that they kind of had him at least help Gabriel out. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of repercussions for that. I don't even know if he's going to get found out. Honestly, I think a lot of the heat is going to go straight to the fact that they now know about Dwight. And I feel like Eugene might actually get questioned on the fact of if he knew that Dwight was a traitor, you know. So I would really like to know what you guys kind of thought about that. And yeah. Anyway, I'm just kind of excited to see, because Josh's performance in this first half of the season, especially last episode, has just been brilliant, and I've absolutely loved it. So that's kind of just like a small little point that I wanted to make. I'm going to, seeing as I brought him up, all right, so let's talk about Dwight, and I really want to know where you guys' heads are at when it comes to Dwight, because, you know, given, if it was like a year ago, we all hated Dwight. Nobody liked Dwight, you know, honestly. But I felt so happy and so like, oh, yes, when he started shooting the saviors. I absolutely loved it. I don't even know. Oh my God, it was so good. I loved it. And there's something about this show that I feel like has always happened, where they take very, very unlikable characters and make them so likable. And I'm kind of rooting for Dwight now. Yeah, so what I'm asking you guys is, what do you think should happen with Dwight moving forward? And what do you think Alexandria should do with Dwight? I think that he has a point, that he does know how they think, and he can prove his worth with Alexandria. I don't know if all is forgiven. He did kill Denise. He has guilt. And he has things in his that he did not do. It makes sense why Tara really wants him dead. The thing that I'm just hoping for is that Tara and Daryl, by the way, I did like that Daryl got his vest back. Tara and Daryl, I hope, have kind of learned their lesson to not be so led by emotion. And maybe, you know, I kind of I like the idea of maybe seeing how much Dwight can help them. And then once the war is over, once they've won or whatever, that's when you kind of think about, you know, putting Dwight on trial, so to speak. It's a very Battlestar Galactica of me, but yes, like, kind of how I feel about that. But I'm curious as to what you guys think. Do you think, like, no, we're done, I don't want to deal with him, whatever, or do you think, like, we can't trust him or whatever? Do you think he's actually done a bit for, you know, the cause, so to speak, that he kind of has earned his place, at least for the time being, to be of use to them? So I'm kind of curious what you guys think about that. And now that I touched on that, I'm going to go and talk about what Tara, Daryl, and Morgan did. And what I liked about this episode is we kind of see how Tara and Daryl are, you know, getting completely confronted with the fact that their plan didn't work, and it actually backfired. I think it's interesting because I was so positive at the end of the last episode that I was like, oh my God, Rick is so fucking pissed off. But now, after what happened at the end of the mid-season finale, I feel like Rick is a little preoccupied to be, like, mad at Daryl or whatever. Maybe he is, but we may not get to that. I mean, he's Carl, you know what I mean? Okay, so do you think there should be repercussions for their actions? Tara and Daryl and, well, Morgan's not even with the Alexandria crew at the moment, but, you know, or do you kind of see where Rosita was coming from with what she said. I don't know what it is about Rosita this season. I mean, she's never been my favorite. I never disliked her. She's kind of always kind of been in the middle, but she's had some kind of very good points, you know? I don't know. And I do like that she kind of, what she said when she was talking to Tara and Daryl, and it was like, it's something you needed to see through, and sometimes things don't work out. You know, that's not exactly what she said, but I think it was great that she said that. One, because, you know, she's done some things that maybe she's not proud of, you know, and she talked about in the previous episode going into something and then getting, you know, with Sasha, and Sasha, you know, died because of it, and because they were kind of led by emotions and you know, stuff like that. But I really kind of liked that Rosita kind of said that to them, because, you know, whether or not she really believes or whether or not she actually blames them, I think in the moment of Negan showing up and the saviors being there or whatever, I don't think she could really, we can't have both Tara and Daryl feeling guilty and crumbling and being like, oh God, we fucked up or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys think that she said that to just get their head back on straight, or if she really believes that. I think it was a little bit of both. I had such a hard time, like, you know, I was really against everything that Daryl did. It just did not seem like the right thing to do. It was completely led by emotion. I think there are, at the same time, I think a lot of people in the group have made mistakes and stuff like that. So, kind of wondering what you guys think and how that should be dealt with, if it should be dealt with. Do they have bigger fish to fry now? I mean, it's kind of interesting, because it seems like they don't have a home anymore. There's the loss of Alexandria, but it's also, you know, it's I don't know. I find it to be kind of, I don't even know what I think. It's so weird, because I think that Tara and Daryl are both great assets to the group, and they need them right now. But I also think, you know, like, what the fuck, guys? Now they got out, and the whole plan is ruined. Everything is fucking ruined because of what you did. And, you know, whether or not you could predict that or not, obviously nobody can predict anything, but it kind of sucks. The thing that I did like, because I was going into this episode and thinking, like, oh my God, because they said, you know, they said, like, there's a big shocking moment. So I kind of figured somebody was gonna die. And I was so happy that the person who died, or will die soon, seeing as Carl didn't actually die in this episode, was not because of what Daryl did. Because I was positive that was going to be the case, and I was just like, Daryl can't deal with that. I mean, the whole thing with Glenn has really fucked him up, and I think he's still suffering from that. And that was one of the leading causes of him actually doing what he did. I was just so happy that I realized that, like, you know, it wasn't because of, you know, I feel like Carl got bit before, and not because of Daryl and what them getting out and stuff. So I was very, very happy about that. I don't think Daryl could have coped in any sort of way if Glenn and Carl were both on his conscience. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of happy about that. Okay, quick little detour on this stuff, everything that I'm talking about right now, and that is going to be, I'm going to talk about Aaron and Enid for a second. It was interesting. I liked that they went to Oceanside. I was really kind of into it. And I gotta say, just my opinion about it, despite the fact that Enid killed Grandma, I think Oceanside's going to join them. The reason that I say this is not is more so plotline wise, storyline wise, when you're thinking about, you know, I don't know why they would have Aaron and Enid go on a mission randomly if it actually wasn't going to work out. You know, like, I don't really know why that would happen. I have a feeling that one of the 8 episodes, or at least a good portion of one of the 8 episodes in the second half of the season, is going to be focused on Aaron and Enid, which I am actually pretty on board with. I like Aaron. I think he is going to be a good guy with a good conscience, but still, he to me is the closest we have to another Glenn type character, in my opinion. And do not get me wrong, nobody replaces Glenn in my eyes. Glenn is everything to me. So, you know, I bring him up like once a weekly chat, and how long has he been done? It happens. But I like, the thing is that there are people who are very like on the pacifist side of the spectrum, like how Morgan once was, how Jesus is now. But Glenn was never that far extreme. He was a pacifist, but still, he was a good man. He was a good guy, but he still did what needed to be done. You know what I mean? I think that that's like, so I kind of like that type of personality. So I'm very excited to see how Aaron could possibly, you know, do this whole thing with Oceanside and maybe convince them to come and fight. It would be a very, very nice win for the group, seeing as, you know, things don't seem to be going very well at the moment. All right, so now I'm going to move on to Maggie, my girl Maggie. Just, I liked the scene on the road. I gotta say, by the way, and it didn't seem that way on my TV, but on my laptop when I was editing, the scenes were so dark. Did you guys feel that way? Like, they're so, like, I remember being like, is that Maggie in there? Like, editing, like, because, I don't use, this is just random editing crap that you probably don't care about, but I don't use the sound from the actual, you know, episode in my picture-in-picture, because I have it set up this way that I watch it live, and I like watching it live. I have to use the sound from the TV, so I have to match up, like, the, you know, the lips to the sound and stuff, and I have to kind of make sure that it... And my God, it was so difficult with this fucking episode because it was so dark, and I was like, I don't know who's talking. It was the most ridiculous thing to trying to edit this episode. Random, I know you don't care. But anyway, so I gotta say, I love Simon as a villain. I was not loving him in this particular, you know, whatever you want to call it, scene, or, you know, sequence of scenes, but I do like him as a villain. He is just, you know, I like him better out there dealing with people as a villain than like as like Negan's lackey, because I feel like he kind of loses a bit of his edge whenever he's with Negan. However, I was so nervous for Jerry in that scene. I couldn't even take it. That was so terrifying. Where is Jerry? Did they keep Jerry? Do we know that? I rewatched the episode. I don't think it's really confirmed. So, let me know if you know. Like, where do the Saviors have Jerry? Or is Jerry and Ezekiel going to be in a cell together? Or did they hand him over to Maggie? I feel like they wouldn't do that. But you know, just let me know. But anyway, how do you guys feel about Maggie's decision to shoot the guy? I I was happy about it. I didn't want her standing down. I'm about done with this whole standing down bullshit. Negan coming and knocking and being like, 3 minutes, motherfucker. Like, no, bye. I don't want to, I just can't take it anymore. But the only thing that I am going to say, because I've said this since the beginning, I do not entirely agree with what Jesus is saying, but he does make a good point in the sense that he is looking at after. He's looking at, you know, what's coming next. These people that we have here, you know, if eventually we want to live peacefully with them, we can't just like go around shooting them. That makes them definitely not want to live peacefully with us. Which is kind of similar to what Rick was saying in his fight with Daryl in a different way, but, you know, where Rick is like, you know, we don't want to give these people who aren't fighting, and that's not really who Maggie has there, but, you know, these people who aren't really fighting a reason to fight, you know, and I think that was a good point. So, you know, I guess there is a possibility that these saviors could try to rise up and take over, you know, Maggie and stuff. Although I'm not entirely worried because Maggie's a boss and I love her. And also I think like the Alexandria people and the Kingdom people, like everybody's gonna head to the hilltop. And, I mean, they could try to overtake like Maggie and Rick. Like, try, but I was kind of happy about it because I feel like the way that she saw it was enough is enough. This is what needs to be done right now. You know, they're gonna come, they're gonna make demands, they're gonna do this, that, and the other thing. No. So, oh my God, I think I loved though when she like walked away and you could see the emotion coming on her face. That was just so amazing to me, because, you know, she doesn't really want to be making these decisions. She doesn't want to shoot anybody right then and there, and I think she's trying to do the best that she can, and I think right now she's doing an excellent job of leading her people and not letting her people down. So, yeah, that's kind of what I have to say on Maggie. I'm going to move to, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything before okay, I'm going to move to Ezekiel. Ezekiel's arc this season has been probably my favorite. He is probably one of the few characters that I would give, like, you know, if there was an MVP for the first half of the season, him. Because we see in the first few episodes his whole, like, you know, and yet I smile, and the positivity. Then in episode 4, we see him absolutely crash down, like, just plummeting down. So crazy. And we see him trying to cope with that. And now we're seeing him, I felt so emotional. I felt so fucking emotional when he saved his people. And there were a lot of people who were kind of saying stuff like, why did he stay behind? Why did he, I think it makes absolutely perfect sense, especially where his mental state is at right now. You know, the whole reason of him having such a hard time was in, you know, episode 4, almost all of his people died for him. Shiva died for him because he's the king. And, you know, like when the bullets came in that scene, people just piled themselves on top of him to make sure. And he needed to make sure that no other person in the kingdom is going to die for him anymore. That's it. He's done. You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely possible if he went with his people and got out of there with his people, that the Savers would just try to find them again and hunt them down, and somebody else would die for him. I absolutely, for his mental state and everything that he's gone through, I think it absolutely makes sense that he's going to, you know, kind of give himself up to make sure that his people, you know, can live to see another day. But he got them out. He got them to safety. He's not a coward. He did what he needed to do. I loved that whole thing just so much. But we have Morgan there, which is so interesting to me. And I am going to be doing a video. I'm going to do a couple of videos, I think, you know, in between, a few videos in between, you know, this weekly chat, and then when the Walking Dead comes back on, I believe it's the 25th, February 25th. So we have quite a few weeks, and I'll try to do, but I'm definitely going to do a video talking about Morgan and how I feel about everything, and what could possibly be going on with him going to Fear. I'm interested to see if, you know, Morgan is going to try to help him. I'm interested to see if Morgan is going to try to, I mean, maybe sacrifice himself to get Ezekiel out. I don't know. There's just very little bits of footage that, you know, we don't really know exactly what's going to be going on with that. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Morgan's going to try to get him out? I mean, I feel like he is, but, and how do you think that that's going to go down? Or do you think, I mean, I don't really think, it seems like Ezekiel's going to find his way, you know, he's going to Negan at this point, and that is, you know, I think, I just had this, like, pit in my stomach the whole time, like, I don't want Ezekiel to get there, Maggie to get there, or Rick to get there, because, you know, Negan said that he wants to kill them, and I don't know, and I'm nervous. But the one thing that I wanted to, quick little side note on this, I really am liking their kind of little looks into Gavin this season. I'm really liking Gavin. It's weird because he doesn't seem to really want violence, you know what I mean? He doesn't really seem to be all about that. I'm honestly, like, I don't need an episode, I don't need any of that, but I would like maybe a scene, a flashbacky kind of scene, to show kind of how Gavin and maybe Simon, like how they kind of got into the fold of the Saviors. Because Gavin seems like a good guy. I say a good guy. The thing is that he still kind of does fucked up shit. But I guess the difference is he feels bad about it after, you know what I mean? Like, like Simon doesn't really feel all that bad, and so that's kind of the difference. But that's just a quick little side note. I actually am really liking Gavin this season. Who knew? I really didn't think that that would be the case. All right, here we go. Let's talk about Carl. It was funny at the end of my reaction. I just said, you know, I literally was trying to form thoughts, but I couldn't. And I said, you know, watch my weekly chat. You can see how I feel about it. But to be completely honest with you guys, I still don't know how I feel about it. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason that I don't know how I feel about it is I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't. Now, I am a comic book reader, and I know, just in general, even if you're not a comic book reader, I know the significance of Carl in this story. He's the future, and he's the established future. Because the thing is you can make the case of, you know, there are other kind of kids, or, you know, Enid, or Judith, or even Grace, little Grace. Her name's Grace, right? I didn't make that up, right? Yeah. The little baby. Maggie's little Glenn, Beth, or Herschel needs to be the names. I don't, that she's choosing between, right? I can't. You know, that's just, I just gotta say. But anyway, her little baby. There's other, but Carl has been so established. Carl has been through so much that he is kind of the person that when you think of the future of this world, you think of Carl, right? So I have so many things to say. In that sense, absolutely, he is so very integral to the story. I don't entirely believe that Carl is the most important person to the story when it comes to episode by episode. Do you know what I mean? They go sometimes a lot of, episodes where we don't see him. We don't, even the ones that take place in Alexandria, he's looking after Judith, he doesn't have a ton of, not all the time, he doesn't have a ton of screen time. So I think the reason that it's so upsetting and fans are so outraged, and fans are fucking outraged, is the idea of Carl and the future and what he means for the show. You know what I mean? I think what I will say about this, if you take away how you feel about moving forward without Carl, right? I will say that I felt the death was done, the way that they presented the death, or the bite, was done well. I loved the whole episode. I loved, the fact that because Carl is completely off limits to me. I just never thought. So when he was even writing a note that said Dad, I didn't even think oh, he's gonna die or whatever. I really thought oh, he's gonna leave because he's disagreeing with how his dad's running things, and he's gonna head out and, I don't know, go hang out with Sadiq in the woods. I don't know what's going on. But I think that's the first thing that jumped to my mind. I loved the scene between Carl and Negan. That scene and it's so much better on a rewatch. Please rewatch it. So much better on a rewatch. It was just so heartbreaking to see him being so okay with dying. And in the moment, especially with me, I was so confused. I'm like, what are you saying, Carl? Do not offer to be killed. What the fuck is your problem? But seeing that he realizes, maybe somebody's going to have to pay for what has been done, it might as well be me because basically I'm already dead. Such a wonderful dynamic between the two. That to me is the thing that I'm thinking that they're going to miss out on a lot. The dynamic between Negan and Carl. The episode, last season's episode 7, I believe it was, where Carl kind of snuck in and they had some great scenes together. This last kind of scene really proved that as well. It just means so much, and that to me, that kind of dynamic, and the dynamic that Carl obviously has with Rick, is what the show is going to be lacking now. By the way, I just wanted to do a quick little, before I go even further into Carl's death, because I realized I didn't talk about it. I loved that there was a Rick versus Negan fight. I did not like the fact that Rick had a gun and he didn't just try to go in and shoot Negan. I thought that was kind of, it is what it is. But I was really hoping to see a one-on-one fight between Rick and Negan, because now it's no secret that Rick Grimes is not just my favorite character on The Walking Dead. He is my favorite character of any TV show ever. So obviously I'm so Team Rick. I'm so fucking Team Rick. I could never be more Team Rick. But I always thought, like, whenever Negan was always flexing his power or whatever, I always had this thing in my brain, like, Negan, if it's you in a room with Rick, you'd get your ass beat. Like, that's just how I feel about it. Because, and I'm not talking about size, I'm not talking about strength, I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about the fact that Rick, time and time again, all of these things, has had to fight his way out of situations. He bit some motherfucker's throat out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't fuck around. And Negan kind of tells people what to do. I'm not saying that Negan's never fought. I'm not saying any of that, but I think it's probably been a little while since he's really, I mean, when I say fight, I don't mean like any kind of fight. I mean like fight for his life. Like his life of his, you know, everyone he loved depended on it and he had to win. Rick has that. So I was really excited because as soon as the fight scene started, I was just like, if they try to act like Negan is just gonna beat Rick's ass, I swear I'm gonna like be throwing shit at my TV because I was so, anyway, that's just my little thoughts on that. I really wanted, and I loved that Rick got his hands on Lucille. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. Anyway, moving back to Carl, sorry, I just forgot that I had to talk about that. I think, by the way, what I want from episode 9, from the mid-season premiere, is I want tears. I want Rick and Carl to have some moments. I think, you know, when The Walking Dead can do it right and do a character-driven episode, and I think they owe it to Carl and his character to do one on him, because I think they have the opportunity to. You know, I didn't really get that with Glenn when Glenn died. His death was so sudden and it happened there and it was done there. But now, you know, we have a bite, but that doesn't mean that Carl can't have any parting words. He does have that note. I believe he still has it on him. So he has that, whatever he wrote for his dad as well. Here's the thing. There's so many things going around about, you know, Chandler Riggs and his dad, and, you know, everybody's like, fire Scott Gimple, and I have opinions on that, but I'm not sure I want to share because I feel like I don't like commenting on stuff like that when you don't know the whole story. It's like only like one side is talking, not the other, and like it's just so weird, and it's just random tidbits, and I feel like everybody kind of I do not know how I feel about Carl getting killed off. And I cannot tell you until I think I see it play out how I feel about it and if I think it was actually worth it. You know, I'm not going to make that decision before I actually see it. You can, that's fine. You're pissed about it. You think it's the stupidest decision, wherever. I don't think it's a good decision. I'm going to be very clear. That's where I'm kind of feeling at the moment, but I'm not gonna, you know, just say, oh, this is, you know, obviously it's not worth it, when I haven't seen what they're talking about. So I think I'm sad about it. I think I feel really emotional about it. And yeah, I don't know how I really feel until I see how the whole thing plays out. And I think we do really need to see what the mid-season premiere is going to be and how they're going to handle Carl's exit, so to speak. But yeah, it's so depressing. But I mean, I really do want to know what you guys think about Carl's death, and how you feel about, you know, moving forward, and is it, you know, absolutely the wrong decision? Is it sort of, you know, people die in this world. I have a little bit of that going on in my brain too. It's like, I mean, now, like, no one's safe. No one is safe. I don't know. I think, again, like, I really want to see the mid-season premiere to really see how I feel about everything, but I gotta say, I never thought that it would fucking happen, to be completely honest. I never thought that I would be, you know, saying goodbye to Carl in any sort of form. I thought he was going to be the last one standing. And even in, there was an interview, well, it was a panel, where, you know, even Andrew Lincoln said something to the effect of, like, he thinks that if at any point Rick had to go in the show, that he really hoped that it would be Carl that got to put him down. Which I think is very cruel to Carl. I mean, like, he's got to put down both of his parents? Jesus Christ, I just thought of that. Okay, but anyway, you know, so it's just this strange feeling knowing that he's not. I know that there's some people out there that are saying that they think he's immune. I don't think that that's the case, but anyway, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm just going to say this. Please try to be civil in the comments. Just please, you know what I mean? Try to be civil. I know that we all disagree on certain things. Some of us like some things, some of us don't, but let's all try to be nice, okay? And that's about it for my weekly chat. Like I said, I'm going to try to do a couple of Walking Dead videos, you know, before the second half of the season starts, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this weekly chat, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!